Good evening. Thank you very much for joining us. This is Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. I'm Ruth Aguela. Nigeria is to unleash her enormous gas potentials towards uplifting the economy and driving industrialization as the next logical pathway to the nation's glorious future. President Muhammadu Buhari stated this at the formal launch of the Decade of Gas in Nigeria. Let's hear more from State House correspondent Adamu Sambo.
The official launch of the Decade of Gas in Nigeria sets the tone for what could best be described as a revolution in the critical subsector of the nation's economy. It demonstrates the resolve by the Buhari presidency to effectively develop and utilize gas as a national priority to, amongst others, stimulate economic growth, improve Nigeria's energy mix, drive investments, and provide the much-needed jobs for the teeming citizens of the country.
I can assure you that President Muhammadu Buhari has the political will to surmount the challenges and continue in a determined pursuit of transforming Nigeria into a gas-based industrialized nation.
We are grateful to the Excellency Mr. President for the continued support and interest in the National Nigerian Gas Expansion Program and other initiatives geared towards greater gas monetization and utilization in our country.
For President Muhammadu Buhari, it is seemingly absurd or even contradictory that Nigeria, as more of a gas nation, focused on oil over the years, hence the more proactive push towards gas development by his administration.
We acknowledge that Nigeria has still more work to do in the gas space. Gas has enormous potential to diversify and uplift Nigeria's economy for the good of the country. We intend to seize this opportunity. Our major objective for gas sector is to transform Nigeria into an industrialized nation with gas playing a major role through enhanced accelerated gas revolution.
Already, he said, remarkable progress has been made towards achieving the objectives, including developing gas infrastructure, promoting domestic gas utilization, commencing the process of commercializing gas flares, development of industrial and transport gas markets, as well as increasing gas to power. Other policies and projects kick-started include the National Gas Expansion Program, Auto Gas Policy, and the construction of the Ajaokuta-Kaduna-Kano gas pipeline.
Global developments have indeed presented us an opportunity. Gas will become the dominant fuel for generating power, not only across the world, but in Africa as well. The question now is, can we rise up to the challenge? The Ministry of Petroleum Resources and the NNPC are in various regards setting the pace.
The president used the opportunity to appreciate Nigeria LNG for contributing about 1% to the nation's GDP, $114 billion in revenues, $9 billion in taxes, $18 billion in dividends to government, and $15 billion in feed gas purchase. There were goodwill messages from Secretaries General of the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, Gas Exporting Countries, International Energy Forum, as well as the Nigeria LNG. The conference is a prelude to the 4th edition of the International Petroleum Summit to be hosted by Nigeria later this year. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
The decision by the federal government to rehabilitate the Port Harcourt refinery with $1.5 billion must be commended. National President of the Niger Delta Non-Violent Agitators Forum, Wisdom Equally, gave the advice in a media briefing in Abuja. Mie Ogidi reports.
Here lies the solution to the challenge of fuel supply in Nigeria. The Port Harcourt refinery, not in the best of state, $1.5 billion from the federal coffers to rehabilitate it. Thanks to the President and the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Timi Silva. For the Niger Delta Non-Violent Agitators Forum, these and many more demonstrate the place of the Niger Delta in the agenda of the federal government.
The huge investments Chief Timi Silva has attracted to the Niger Delta region, among which are the commencement of the Nigerian liquefied natural gas LNG Train 7 in the famous Bonny Island in Rivers State. The over $3,600,000 brass fertilizer and petrochemical, the Olebri Otabagi Oil and Gas Museum and Research Institute, all in Bayelsa State.
Huge projects that will address unemployment and open up the economy of the region. But great synergy is expected.
During politics, you can run under political parties. But after elections, all the parties come together to collectively develop the state. And that is why I am very happy with the synergy between Chief Timi Silva and our great leader and governor, Doye Diri.
Good tidings beckons, and the youths must create ecosystem of peace for the project to be actualized. Mie Ogidi, NTA News.
The federal government says there is no cause for alarm in the design of the Enugu-Onitsha expressway, but blamed indiscipline amongst motorists as the major cause of mishaps on the road. Well, this is against claims that the dual carriageway was not properly reconstructed. Joy Iloagbu has details.
The ongoing reconstruction of the Enugu-Onitsha dual carriageway by the federal government is said to be a welcome development, as the road plays a critical role in connecting the eastern region to other parts of the country. However, since near completion of the Enugu bound of the dual carriageway, which was also opened up for use in December last year, motorists who ply the road have thrown caution to the wind, engaging in reckless driving and overspeeding, sometimes resulting to accidents. Reacting to a viral video on social media claiming that the dual carriageway has a barricade on the lane which can cause mishap, the Federal Ministry of Works says the Enugu-Onitsha expressway is designed for a two-lane carriageway and a paved shoulder with asphalt.
In spite of all this, our people overspeed so much. Now, what you now have in the current situation in Enugu is that the two lanes you have, the shoulder makes it now like as if it's 3 lanes. They now run on the shoulder. As you now approach the flyover, it closes down into 2. They don't realize that what they were using before was not actually a carriageway. They are now making noise that the government, the engineers in works are reducing the width of the pavement to 2 instead of 3. They are shortchanging them. In the first place, it is not 3.
With work still in progress on the other lane of the road, genuine concerns were also raised on the attitude of some drivers who oppose the traffic on the expressway.
Our road users need to sit up. They need to be wise. Lane discipline must be enforced. Again, drivers must drive carefully. We have too much of reckless driving. Let's face it, my brother. When you look at our drivers, when the roads were bad, they were clamoring, the roads were bad. Now we are fixing it. Overspeeding becomes the problem.
Work on the road is expected to be completed before the end of the year. In Oka, Joy Iluebu, NTA News.
Right, let's head to Lagos to find out what's the latest, and Michael is set to guide us. Michael.
Thank you, Ruth. The perennial gridlock that has characterized part of Apapa Oshodi Expressway has remained unresolved for a while now, despite efforts at bringing succor to residents. Dr. Ogunyemi, who visited the area, has an update on the situation.
For a while now, the Apapa-Oshodi-Oworonshoki Expressway has been undergoing reconstruction, with completed sections of the road opened to traffic. While the situation along some parts of the road was free around Oshodi, Ilasa and Sele, the scenario changed as we made our way towards Second Rainbow and Mile 2. Behind the wheel of this truck is Obina. Facing traffic on this route has become a familiar territory.
It's because of construction of the road, and they are from ports. They call up and their passing of motor are not sharp. So that is why the hold up will hold us down.
This is the Mile 2 area along the Apapa-Oshodi Expressway, and the high volume of traffic experienced here is because of the proximity of this area to the Tinkan Island port, as well as some bad portions of the road. And what is even compounding the situation more is because motorists are often found in violation of the traffic law, as road traffic management personnel are on ground to ensure a smooth flow of traffic.
Okada riders like Isa are also not left out confronting traffic in a bid to make ends meet.
Traffic there too much, you know. Facing Okada they suffer. Everybody say not be only Okada, say everybody they suffer for this legal side.
As efforts to find a lasting solution to the traffic continues, stakeholders are calling for better enforcement of the recently introduced electronic call-up system at the ports. In Lagos, Dotun Okunyemi, NTA News.
Stakeholders in the maritime sector are sustaining conversation on how Nigeria can embrace the principles of international trade to guide the interests of investors under the African Continental Free Trade Area, AFCFTA. This was at a sensitization workshop held in Lagos, where the attendees were also exposed to the new essentials of global trade. The African Continental Free Trade Area is a window of opportunity to bring 30 million people out of extreme poverty, according to the World Bank. But the eventual winners will be those who have maximum control over logistics, since this is an impetus for international trade. Dealing with this complexity is spelled out in the set of rules that guide international trade, known as Incoterms.
Considering recent developments in the inland transportation of goods through the rehabilitation and the expansion of Nigerian railway network and the establishment of inland dry ports in different parts of the country, we need to be adequately prepared for the increase in trading activities that this development will surely bring to international trade.
Those are the things that we have to start thinking about.
The workshop is teaching importers, exporters, and stakeholders within the port ecosystem on how to handle trade, putting into consideration variables like cost, freight, duty paid, and insurance across the African continent.
Nigeria, for example, we have rules in the foreign exchange management. They should be conversant with that and agreed on payment and agreed on documentation.
It is on record that Nigeria loses 5 billion naira to freight services annually. But stakeholders here believe domesticating international trade rules is the answer to turning them to gains.
International rules that govern trade will help the economy a great deal, and will also have a very seamless process for trade to thrive in our environment.
The first Incoterms was published in 1936, while the last amendment, done in 2020, has not only generated dialogue for AFCFTA, but created a conversation on how to make the country's economy maintain its trajectory on global stage. Time now for some messages, and when we return, the news continues with Ruth in Abuja.
Should not mask your beauty. The primary purpose of a face mask is to protect the wearer from bacteria, dust, pollen, and viruses such as COVID-19. But now that face mask has become part of our daily wardrobe and accessories, Transgreen Nigeria Limited is introducing O-Care colors. O-Care medical face mask now comes in different colors to match your unique style and different attires. O-Care medical face mask is comfortable to wear, easy to breathe through, and does not leave marks or rashes on your face and can be specially branded to suit your taste. You can get your O-Care medical face mask today from pharmacies and supermarkets near you. O-Care.
Protection you can trust. O-Care.
Hello, I bring you wonderful news. The village headmaster is coming back to your screen. Mo wire abi mi o wire.
Teacher yo mo, a fẹ́ lọ wá nǹkan jẹ. Teacher yo mo, a fẹ́ lọ wá nǹkan jẹ. Ọmọ onírẹsì ti dé.
Ajebo na better school for last gidi. Not be all this on a rugged school for Ijabi. I don't know for you.
Second, it's called Oja Village. Kadesi. We know happy at all.
And I know that even you too, you are getting a lot of orders too. Hey, we are trying, Shao. Sweep her leg out. She was standing there. Sweep it.
I love you so much.
And how did I give you the impression that I was interested in that position?
50-year anniversary.
You mean anniversary?
I mean, it's not I talk with that now.
Not for me.
You want me to die?
Not for me because of Pamio.
Welcome back. Let's look at security. Troops of Operation Lafia Dole have eliminated 48 Boko Haram terrorists and rescued 12 abducted victims from the criminals. A statement by the Director, Army Public Relations, Brigadier General Mohammed Yerima says the operation that spanned through Chibok-Damboa axis led to the recovery of several arms. Brigadier General Yerima notes that troops are presently dominating the area with aggressive patrols and on trail of fleeing terrorists. Concerted efforts are ongoing to eliminate threat associated with improvised explosive device, which has been affecting counter-insurgency operations in the northeast. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports that this was at the combined first quarter Chief of Army Staff Conference and operational retreat held in Abuja.
No strategy, no victory, especially for those in the theater of war. So, commanders, unit heads and principal officers of the Nigerian Army are taking time out from the front line to strategize, and the periodic Chief of Army Staff Conference is the platform.
The country is also witnessing an increased spate of kidnapping for ransom, especially in the northwest and the north-central zones. These security challenges, amongst many others, require a gathering of this nature to review our current operations and proffer strategies to counter emerging and future threats.
Improving on their strength and rebuilding on their seeming areas of weakness is the task before these officers.
President gave us marching orders.
Critical to the Chief of Army Staff is the need to inject more platforms, improve troops' welfare and upskill training.
I am glad to inform you that the President, Commander-in-Chief, has pledged to continue to support the Nigerian Army. As I speak, we will soon be receiving combat enablers that would enhance and boost our operations. Concerted effort is also being made to eliminate the threat of improvised explosive devices, which has been a major impediment to troops and our operations in Operation Lafia Dole.
With the recent presidential directives urging the armed forces to aggressively address criminality in the country, this platform definitely has a lot to deliberate. Ismail Musa, NTA News.
Rural women in Delta State are the latest to benefit from the 20,000 naira cash grant by the federal government. The Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development is carrying out the disbursement targeted at 3,000 women across the 25 local government areas of the state. Let's hear more from Oyinye Joshua in Fine.
The Delta State focal person of National Social Investment Program, NSIP, Bridget Anyafulu, said the funds disbursed is aimed at alleviating poverty and cushioning the effects of COVID-19 pandemic on rural women. She said the women are drawn from 25 local government areas of the state.
To make sure that some of these rural women who are small-scale enterprise will be able to run their small business and manage all that they have, even under the pandemic.
Beneficiaries thanked the federal government for deeming it fit to assist them during these turbulent times.
I never expected this, but I believe that with God, all things are possible. And I'm going to use this money to pray for those who made me a benefactor today.
I'm happy at least for the first time I'm eating something from the government, so I really appreciate it.
I'll take set up small business, like I did do snacks before. When I reach house now, I use and carry flour, buy groundnut oil, and do my small business.
This money, I'll use it to start little business, and I know it will heap up into a greater one.
The Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development coordinates all humanitarian affairs in Nigeria. In Asaba, Onyinye Joshua Ifeanyi, NTA News.
All right, Sokoto will be our next stop, and Asmao will definitely guide us. Asmao.
Thank you, Ruth. Good evening and welcome to Sokoto. Results of local government election held in Sokoto State have been declared. Sokoto State Chairman, Independent Electoral Commission and Chief Returning Officer Aliyu Suleiman Isa declared the winners of the election shortly after coalition of the results. Sheikh Muhammad Dati completes the report.
The Chairman, Sokoto State Independent Electoral Commission, Aliyu Suleiman Isa, declared the winners of the just concluded local government council election. The Chairman and Chief Returning Officer, Aliyu Suleiman Isa, said People's Democratic Party, PDP, won all the elected positions contested in the 23 local government areas and appreciated the efforts of the political parties that contested in the polls.
Having satisfied the requirement of the law, I hereby declared the winners and are returned elected.
The certificates of return will be issued to the winners of the election soon. In Sokoto, Sheikh Muhammad Dati, NTA News.
Sokoto State Government has directed the closure of Government Girls College Sokoto due to outbreak of gastroenteritis that claimed 2 lives. State Commissioner for Science and Technology, Dr. Kulu Haruna Abubakar, stated this at a press briefing. Sheikh Muhammad Dati again reports.
Dr. Kulu Haruna, while confirming the death of the second student, also said the state governor has directed the immediate closure of the school to avoid spread of the disease. The first girl that died was a student of GGC Rapa who was on transfer to GGC Sokoto due to the merger of boarding students of border communities. The second girl was also from Bodinga, who was also on transfer due to the merger of boarding students. Out of the 30 severely affected students, the commissioner said 5 have been confirmed medically fit and discharged, while the remaining students will remain at the isolation camp to avoid spread.
Actually, it is an unfortunate situation, but we all attribute it to the cause of the Almighty Allah, and we really sympathize with the families of the deceased, and we pray that the situation has been arrested.
It was on Tuesday that an outbreak of an unknown disease was reported, which led to the death of the first victim while she was being taken to the hospital. Although preliminary investigation carried out by the Ministry of Health did not find any food poisoning, it was confirmed that it is an outbreak of gastroenteritis. In Sokoto, Show Muhammad Detti, NTA News.
And that's it from Sokoto. The news will continue with Ruth in Abuja. Good evening.
Thank you, Asmao. The federal government has launched 50 billion naira export expansion facility program, grant management system, and also flagged off the Export Development Fund for non-oil exports. Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Ni Adebayo, says export growth is at the center of the ministry's strategy for diversifying larger sources of foreign exchange. Leah Katumba Batunde reports.
Wife, I have kids, I have people that feed under me. If this company closed down, what are they going to do? Are we going to beg on this field? So we are scared. As you can see, we are all scared. We are not happy because every day I come in, I'm afraid. I don't know what is going to happen in the next tomorrow.
This was Ibrahim Ali 3 years ago at one of the manufacturing companies in Sharadaya State, Kano, a concern they attributed to the export expansion grant facility. Many stages have been passed, and at 33.3%, there are concerns over the rising unemployment figures fueled by the coronavirus pandemic. However, there is good news, as the federal government flags off the Export Expansion Facility Program, EEFP, to increase non-oil export capacity in the near term and volumes in the medium term.
It will also provide economic incentive to ease the economic effects of COVID-19 on players in the export sector, fast-track the zero-oil plan to create jobs and further expand other avenues to earn foreign exchange in Nigeria other than crude oil.
The Export Development Fund would serve to complement the other areas that were not covered by the MSME Survival Fund. That is for export-oriented businesses.
The Export Development Fund will support micro, small and medium enterprises, with technology playing a critical role here, as prospective beneficiaries would have to get online and pass through thorough checks. It is part of the 2.3 trillion naira economic sustainability plan.
The President approved 350 billion naira to clear backlogs on the EEG. So the National Assembly has approved so far 194 billion out of it, and they've been paid. So the others that have not been paid, there are some delay in the last National Assembly, the 8th National Assembly, but this one will sort it out. So those companies will benefit under some kind of COVID relief. But the one we launched today is the export development. That's the incentive that we have not used at all.
This post-shipment grant, government says, will be of immense support to factory workers like Ibrahim Ali as it works towards moving the economy from pandemic to prosperity. In Abuja, Leah Katungbaba today, NTA News.
And we'll take one more stop, and this time around it's Port Harcourt. Jenny is already set.
Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike says he has taken his first dose of the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine. The governor spoke when he played host to the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 led by its National Incident Manager, Dr. Mukhtar Mohammed, at Government House, Port Harcourt. Ogedi Nyekwere reports.
The governor, who said he was vaccinated at the Government House Clinic, noted that Rivers people are not averse to the taking of the COVID-19 vaccine, considering their knowledge and importance of being vaccinated. He dismissed the propaganda that trailed his inability to publicly take the vaccine.
I think this is the highest virus I've seen that have changed the pattern of life of our people. It's most unfortunate. And let me, through you, thank the chairman, Mr. Boss Mustafa, and members of the team for a good job being done.
The incident manager, Dr. Mokhtar Mohammed, said the visit by the technical team of the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 is to assess the Port Harcourt International Airport and also work out modalities that will ensure safety of air passengers.
We need to identify a quarantine facility, which is a hotel, where people who do not comply with the protocol will now be kept for a period of about 8 days, pending which they will be tested for COVID-19, and if they are negative, they will be allowed to go. But if they are positive, we'll have to keep them in isolation facilities. This hotel facility will be arranged by the state government. However, the passengers, as a way of deterrent, will be the ones to make payment for the period of stay.
The incident manager lauded the Rivers State government for remaining consistent with testing and protocols aimed at flattening the curve of the virus in the state. In Port Harcourt, Oge Dinyekuru, NTA News.
Recognizing the importance of civil procedure in the practice of law, Dr. Jerry Amadi has presented a book with the title Modern Civil Procedure Law and Practice in Nigeria to the public. The book launch held in Port Harcourt attracted the academians, members of the bench and bar. The reports. The 37 chapters and 4,336-page book, authored by Dr. Jerry Amadi, is the second edition of the series. It is a compilation of cases in Federal High Court Lagos 2019, Federal High Court FCT 2018, Federal High Court Port Harcourt 2010, and fundamental rights among others.
It is a medium in the determined law, medium through which substantive law speaks.
This book is based on the new rules. You should be able to read the new rules, find it sufficiently easy to use it and argue your own case, even though you are not a lawyer, in court.
Since procedure and practice in law is a medium through which substantial law speaks, guests appreciated the author's dedication, commitment, and contributions to the development of the law profession.
Jerry is a hard-working young man, committed, reliable, and dependable.
Dr. Madi admits that procedures in laws is a volatile area. Hence, the book has brought to bear key issues and divergent views in the civil procedure.
There have been practice directions which sought to provide guidance for the court during the period of the COVID-19. Now, those rules also are captured in the book.
Dr. Amadi is a senior lecturer with the Rivers State University. Another break beckons. Nationwide continues with Ruth in Abuja shortly.
Contemporary times require practical skills to remain competitive and relevant in your organization. Therefore, take advantage of NTA TV College short proficiency courses to sharpen your professional skills. Basic Broadcast Accounting and Auditing. Date 19th April to 30th April 2021. 2 weeks. Audio Engineering, Operations and Maintenance. Date 19th April to 23rd April 2021. 1 week. Protocol, Event Management and Public Relations. Date 3rd May to 14th May 2021. 2 weeks. Intermediate Camera Operation Techniques. Date 17th May to 11th June 2021. 4 weeks. The course fee for the 4-week course is 100,000 naira per participant. The fee for the 2-week course is 80,000 naira, while the course fee for the 1-week course is 40,000 naira only. Accommodation inclusive. Venue for all the courses is the serene and secure environment of NTA TV College near Old Government House, Rayfield, Jos. For more inquiries, please call 0803-314-4383 or 0806-980-9807. NTA TV College, Jos. Training you to be the best you want to be.
The vaccine offers hope for a safe country free of coronavirus. I urge all state governments, traditional and religious leaders to take the lead in the mobilization effort within their environment and spheres of influence. I similarly urge all eligible Nigerians to present themselves and be vaccinated in accordance with the order of priority already mapped out at the various authorized designated centers only.
NTA News 24, a 24-hour news station brings to you news and happenings 7 days a week.
News at 10 a.m., news update at 11 and 1 p.m.
News desk at 3 p.m. and 6 p.m. and late evening news at 11 p.m.
Follow us on any of our platforms and keep abreast of events and current affairs within and outside our shores.
We are on DSTV channel 419, GoTV channel 46,
Star Times channel 101 and Free TV channel 703.
Join us.
Welcome back. Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed has described as impressive the Nasarawa state government's effort in opening the state to global tourism. Lai Mohammed stated this when he took an inspection tour of ongoing work at the Lafia airport. Anthony Fortson reports.
The concept of the project was for Nasarawa state to have a cargo airport, as explained by the state's commissioner for works.
Because of the predominantly agricultural nature of the economy of Nasarawa State and the solid mineral endowment that Nasarawa State has.
Presently at 85% completion, Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed says the Nasarawa State government has justified every investment being made to promote tourism.
An airport is very critical, not just but to the economic development of a place. So investing in this airport, I think it was a very wise move by the government and people of Nasarawa State.
He called on other states with such potentials to emulate the Nasarawa State efforts.
Because you all know how critical an airport is to tourism development.
With few months to be completed for inauguration, having had its maiden flight in May 2019, the state deputy governor says plans are underway to increase the 2.2-kilometer runway to 2.5 kilometers for the airport to be multipurpose.
Believing that they're going to add value to governance and to the economy of the citizens of the state. And the airport is one of those priority areas that we thought we should complete. And building an airport is quite expensive and it's costing us quite some money. But we thank God that we're continuing with it. And like the commissioner mentioned, hopefully in the next few months, we'll have the control cabin brought in and installed. And once that is done and the other aeronautical devices are put in place, we shall have this airport kicking before the year runs out.
And in terms of flight safety, the airport, he added, will come handy for flights in distress. Anthony Forson, NTA News.
The digital switchover of television broadcasting halted due to paucity of funds has received a boost with the release of 9.5 billion naira by the federal government. Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, says reforms embarked upon by the NBC will deepen broadcasting in Nigeria and provide a level playing field for all. Lydia Sampson reports.
Have consistently pointed out that the accruing benefits of the digital switchover are enormous. Speaking on Good Morning Nigeria, the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, notes that to reposition the indigenous media and creative industry that make local channels and content thrive, the issue of exclusivity and other rigid practices are being tackled by reforms.
We had to get right the legal and regulatory framework, and that's why we embarked upon the amendment of certain provisions of the code.
This amendment meant mainly to encourage and ensure a level playing ground for everybody.
The minister adds that the ongoing reforms are largely misunderstood by some players, but it is in the interest of boosting the economy of content and channel owners. On the technical aspects of the digital switchover, a team of engineers explained that with the renewed political will, analog transmitters in Plateau State will be switching off in June. This is as Lagos, Kano and Port Harcourt are slated to take off 29th April.
There'll be more TV channels for people to watch. There'll be more avenue to harness the content which Nigerians are endowed with. So the benefit is huge in terms of advertisement.
Some of these pay TV are operating where the signal distributors have not yet set up. So going forward, there will be an arrangement. They will migrate from self-carrying to the platform of one or two of one of the signal distributors.
We find it very difficult to move ahead. So that's very, very difficult for us. But we thank God that federal government has actually approved some of money to be paid to us so that we can, forge ahead.
They all agree that moving forward, 75% signal coverage attainment is automatically a switchover from analog, which will not just create employment across the value chains, but boost the nation's economy. In Abuja, Lydia Samson, NTA News.
As a wake-up call to the growing threats of bias reporting on the Nigerian state of security by foreign media practitioners, a body of Nigeria's veteran journalists under the auspices of Vision Center for Communication and Development Advocacy is leading a conversation to change the narrative and entrench universal ethics of professionalism in conduct and practice. Abubakar Usman Akwanga reports.
The recent scenarios that played out on the face of social unrest, triggered by NSAS protest and the rise of divisive tendencies threatening the peaceful development of the country, informed this brainstorming session. This coming together of media professionals from the print and broadcast industry, including Executive Director News NTA Mohammed Labo, provoked thought that centered on the principle of objectivity against foreign practice that exacerbate tension.
Foreign correspondents come here and only look at the negative aspect of how the army operates or how the locals are dealing with the situation. Most of the time we have our reporters there, but we rely more on foreign journalists.
Stakeholders say journalism in Nigeria should be part of the peace-building process of stabilizing our shores for the return of sanity in every sphere of life, with priority to quality editorial judgment.
The way we send the message across to the citizens speaks volume.
It is a moral burden on us as media practitioners and as journalists to make sure that we de-escalate this issue.
Let's come up with concrete solutions on how we can help the security situation in this country.
Nigeria's situation, these veterans note that, is better managed than allowed to deteriorate, as a nation of more than 200 million population can only wallow in unimaginable consequences during conflict.
The challenge before Nigerian journalists here is to de-escalate conflict arising from mutual distrust and other primordial sentiment, as well as promote peace and sustainable development, which is the hallmark of national integration. In Abuja, Abubakar Usman Akwanga, NTA News.
All right. Amina is standing by in our Kaduna Network Center for the next set of reports. Amina.
Thank you, Ruth. Welcome to Kaduna. APC national leader Bola Ahmed Tinubu has commended the government and people of Kano State for accommodating and living peacefully with various ethnic nationalities. He gave the commendation during an interactive session with community leaders at the Kano Government House. Abdullah Mustafa has the report.
The interactive session attracted leaders of various ethnic nationalities residing in Kano. It is part of Senator Bola Tinubu's consultations with stakeholders on the need for Nigerians to tolerate and embrace one another irrespective of religious or ethnic affiliation.
Things have been happening positively in Kano. Kudos to you, Baba. He appointed some of our sons into his cabinet.
The positive testimonies Senator Bola Tinubu observes are an encouragement and give hope for a better and united Nigeria.
The tribe and tongues may differ, but in brotherhood we stand. These people, as they rightly said, will remove the tag of non-indigenous. We said they are all indigenous of Kano, with primordial claim elsewhere.
Similar meeting was also held with religious leaders from various parts of the state. In Kano, Abdullahi Mustafa, NTA News.
Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) is training its staff on election monitoring and political party management ahead of the 2023 elections. The report. With participants drawn from the 19 northern states and FCT, the workshop seeks to improve the skills of staff to ensure that political parties and candidates adhere to all electoral procedures and laws to reinforce transparency and integrity in elections.
If we properly train our staff and they follow the law and follow the party constitution in terms of primaries, we'll minimize those changes that come after election. And we also guide, since we are monitors, we are not observers, we are monitors, we can also guide the political parties when they are doing their primaries, so we can point out where they are doing wrong so that they can correct it at the time of doing it.
So our role in this regard is to support INEC, to build the capacity of the staff to be able to carry out this important function. As you all know, the political parties are very important, in the political process.
Modules on emotional intelligence, strategic thinking, as well as guidelines for regulations and electoral party monitoring activities formed part of discussions. And that's it from here. It's back to Ruth in Abuja.
Thank you, Amina. The APC leader in Akwa Ibom State and Minister of Niger Delta, Senator Godswill Akpabio, has urged stakeholders to work together in a renewed effort to build a strong party in Akwa Ibom State ahead of the 2023 general elections. He was speaking at the party stakeholders meeting in Uyo. Kelvin Samuel, tell us more.
The stakeholders meeting of the All Progressives Congress Akwa Ibom State became necessary as a platform to unify, strategize, and restrengthen the party in the state by creating level playing ground as well as giving its leaders their rightful place in order to take them to the desired destination with 2023 general election in view. A move stakeholders say is in the right direction and for the benefit of all.
You have a great man, you have a man that is a leader, you have a man that has a lion heart. The gospel that you have, they stand for a lot of things. We want to build Nigeria, we build Nigeria. If you want to build Akwa Ibom, we build Akwa Ibom. If you build Akwa Ibom must be Akwa Ibom.
The Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Godswill Akpabio, whose actions were obviously missed by the people, assured them that he is fully prepared to take the party to its rightful place in the state. He called on all party men and women to unite and join hands in repositioning the party while avoiding everything that could bring division among stakeholders.
We are going to surprise those who want to be surprised. We have the capacity, we have the followership, and we have the intellect, and we have all it takes to win election for the APC in Akwa Ibom State.
1 minute silence was observed in respect to the late APC State Chairman, Enugu-Onitsha, while his widow was given support to help take care of the children's education. In Uyo, Kelvin Samuel, NTA News.
And more on the political scene, the People's Democratic Party says it has not taken any decision on any of the recommendations proposed by Senator Bala Mohammed-led PDP committee on the review of the 2019 elections. Timothy Yusuf reports that the clarification is coming on the heels of speculation that the party has already taken a position.
The Senator Bala Mohammed Committee on the review of the 2019 elections was to identify factors that contributed to the party's failure in that presidential election and as well profile the way forward. The PDP notes that the recommendations will be subjected to its democratic process by relevant organs of the party and consultation.
It starts from today. We must sink our differences.
Meanwhile, a pro-Igbo for President group ahead of the 2023 general elections is asking the People's Democratic Party to trash the Governor Bala Mohammed-led committee report which recommends the scrapping of zoning in the 2023 general elections.
Since we have decided to be a country, let us have one.
In another development, the National Reconciliation and Strategy Committee of the People's Democratic Party has recommended that any aspirant seeking to contest for elective position on the platform of the party who is under the age of 35 should be exempted from the payment of nomination fees. Chairman of the committee and former Senate President Dr. Abubakar Bukola Saraki made a recommendation to Prince Uche Secondus, the PDP National Chairman. In Abuja, Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
National Chairman of the Action Democratic Party, Yabagi Sani, is advocating for the consideration of the involvement of communities in security surveillance and policing, such as the use of hunters and local vigilantes that have proved to be rewarding in many instances of the engagements. Timothy Yusuf reports that some other political parties are calling for sanctions on any party leader whose supporters are found culpable for criminal activities.
On banditry, kidnapping and other violent crimes across the country, the Action Democratic Party says it aligns with the clamor for the decentralization of the Nigeria Police Force, with states and local councils having their police formations as obtained in most countries of the modern world.
Now that the National Assembly has embarked on another effort at constitutional amendment, the ADP calls on the lawmakers to consider amending relevant sections of the law on the police.
National Chairman of the African Action Congress, who also chairs the Inter-Party Advisory Council, Dr. Leonard Zenwa, and the presidential candidate of the People's Trust in the 2019 general elections, Gbenga Olawepo Hashim, are calling on all patriotic Nigerians to unite and forestall what they described as very tempting campaign by desperate forces of separation to break up Nigeria.
What we ask every Nigerian is that this country has got to be one first before you have politics.
Our ethnicity and diversity is not the problem. What we need to fix are the challenges our country faces.
They also explains that a united Nigeria still remains the best alternative. In Abuja, Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
To walk the talk, affirming the safety and efficacy of COVID-19 vaccines, stakeholders in Ebonyi State have been taking their jabs of the vaccine without any record of serious side effect, which Echiku Chibueze-Idam reports.
The coronavirus pandemic, which left countries of the world recording death in their numbers, also did not spare the economy. The desire to halt the pandemic and save humanity from its clutches saw scientists racing to get vaccines. With the breakthrough made in arriving at some vaccines adjudged to be safe on humans, the federal government once again showed her proactiveness in safeguarding the lives of the people by procuring the vaccines. Some of the stakeholders already vaccinated in Ebonyi State advised people to discountenance rumors of adverse side effects, among other lies.
So I've taken and I didn't have any serious side effect to it. You can see me talking. And one thing I want to tell Nigerians is that there is no health professional that will advise somebody to take what will kill him or her.
The second person to have taken the vaccine this hospital is a robust response to the COVID pandemic.
I assure every member of the public that there's no bad side of it, there's no negative side of it. I took it, I didn't have even any fever at all. I didn't feel I did anything serious.
Worthy of note, according to medical experts, is that despite being vaccinated, adherence to other COVID-19 safety protocols is important. The stakeholders received jabs of the AstraZeneca vaccine. It is hoped that with time, people's poor attitude towards the vaccine will change as it is needed for the safety of all. In Abakaliki, Ujechukwu Chibezidam, NTA News.
All right, that's nationwide. We do well appreciate your company with us. But remember, we're still on in the fight against rape, and the rapists do well to connect with NTA. I'm Ruth Aguela. Enjoy your evening.